Hello, now today I'm going to show you how to change the hood on an MX5. Well, when I say I'm going to show you, I'm not actually, because I brought my car here to the MX5 parts workshop where they are going to fit it for me. This is part of the service that you get when you buy any hood from MX5 parts, and if you can make the trip down to Portsmouth here to their base, they will fit the hood for free as part of the cost. Now it's obviously well worth doing because it's quite a complicated job, as we are about to find out. Now obviously this is a Mark 1 or NA. The process is pretty similar on a Mark 2. Mark 3 is a bit more complicated, but they can do any of the hoods here on site, as I say, and it's a day's job, so you'll have a day out in Portsmouth. I'll talk you through a little bit through what we're going to do first of all, just to give you a sense of the job and what we're doing. So there are a few things to factor in when you're doing a hood. First of all, you have to choose what kind of hood you're going for. I've opted for a mohair one because that has a slightly nicer finish. I'm sticking with the zip out plastic rear window, although obviously on a Mark 1 that's the usual feature. On a Mark 2 you can have a glass screen, and many Mark 1 owners use this as an opportunity to upgrade to a glass rear screen. Personally, I like driving around with the rear screen zipped out some of the time. It's kind of a nice halfway house, so I'm going to stick with the standard plastic rear screen. It's also a chance to upgrade to a fancier hood than the one you had before, or change colour or something like that. There are a few other things to factor in as well. So when you're doing the job, apparently there are a few kind of things that may come up while you're doing the job. So for instance, the rain rail here may need replacing, the catches here, the tensioning cables within the hood, and these are the kind of things you only find out when you're halfway through the job. So as much as it's a job you can do as a DIY thing, it makes sense to bring it somewhere like this because they know what they're doing, they've done thousands of them, and they know all the little tricks, and also they have the parts here on site if you do need to replace the rain rail or anything like that. Adds a little bit to the cost, but it means you're not stuck halfway through the job with the hood half done and with a car on your driveway that's not leak proof or anything like that. So yeah, it makes, as much as it's nice working on your own car, in this instance I think a hood change is probably something best left to the experts. So what's the process? Well, to start with, I'm going to kind of strip out the interior here, strip out the carpets, take off all the seatbelt mounts and all that kind of thing, and then the hood will be unbolted from the car. We have to cut it away from the rain rail all the way around here, and then we're going to lift out the whole mechanism, put it on that table over there, and that's the point where we actually put the new hood skin on. So, and then once we've done that, then just reverse the process, put it back in the car, and that's where it all gets a little bit fiddly, or so I'm told. So that's the process. That is how we change a hood. Let's see how it's done for real. Okay, it's probably at this point in the process I should introduce Sean, who is our man here who's knows what he's doing and is going to show us how to change the roof on this MX5. Sean's taken out the interior already, so we've done that stage, and he advises that this is the part that you probably don't want to see, because this is where he actually takes a knife to the hood. So Sean, you're going to cut away the hood from the rail, is that right? Yep. Right, there we go. This is where somebody takes a knife to your car. There's no going back now, is there? We are now fully committed to this roof change, and yes, that is quite scary seeing somebody take a knife to your car, but rest assured he's an expert, he does know what he's doing, and yes, we'll now get on with getting the roof off and changing the hood skin. Okay, so just to bring you up to speed with where we're at, we have removed the hood and the rain rail from inside the car here. It turns out my rain rail is a bit done for, it's had it, so we're going to need a new rain rail to put in. That just fits in here along these mounting points here, and the remains of mine is here. So that's the rain rail there, and this one is just, it's shot, basically, to use a technical term. So we're going to need a new one of those. So that's the car kind of prepped and ready. We've got the hood here on the bench now, so this is where we actually put the new skin on it, as it were. Now then, this is a case of Sean's just going to kind of work his way around the hood here. He's already started cutting off these parts here where the hood links around these crossbars here. Let's take off this rail on the front, remove some of these parts here, and it's a case of putting the new skin on and then reinstalling it into the car. So that's that stage done. We'll crack on with putting the new hood on the frame. Okay, so the old hood skin is off. This is the frame of the hood here, obviously. A couple of things to look out for. Areas around here for bits of rust and things like that. Also on the front edge here, on the front rail. It's a point where you can check the condition of the frame, make sure it's still all okay. Mine is, thankfully, so that's all good. Oh, you also need to check these tensioning cables here. They can apparently wear out as they go over the back of the hood there. This all looks good. We're all ready to put the new hood on, which is there in that box there. So we're ready for the next stage. So we have got the new hood skin on the frame. You'll have seen a couple of little tricks of the trade there. One of them is getting these bits to wrap around the sort of transverse rails there. That's a case of scooping underneath. Sean actually turned around and did it backwards. Apparently, that's just the angle of getting your fingers under there is a lot easier. One of the tricks he did point out is that there's a tensioning cable here that runs from the front of the frame under here. And he said quite a lot of people miss the fact that you can just about see there, it comes out of the hood fabric, in through that hole, and then through there. He said that's a common thing that people don't spot when they're putting the hood back together, if you're doing this yourself. Either that or they put ones that are too short from a Mark II hood onto a Mark I hood, things like that. So while the fundamentals of this job are relatively straightforward if you follow the procedure, there are a couple of tiny little things like that which you could do halfway along, and if you did make a mistake, it's going to completely cock up the whole job. So a few things to watch out for there. We are now in the final stages of putting the hood skin onto the frame, and then we can put it back into the car, and hopefully we're nearly done. Okay, so just a brief interlude from what we were doing before. I was telling you that my car needed a new rain rail fitted to go behind the hood. We've added a Mazda original one here. You can see this just fits around these studs that are on the bulkhead here. So basically what happens is, it's difficult to show once we're installing it properly, but the hood kind of sits inside there, the back edge of the hood, and it gets pinched between the rain rail sides like that, and then you bolt it to the bulkhead via these studs and these 10mm bolts that go through there. So just thought I'd show you the rain rail before we install the roof, and just kind of explain a little bit about how the roof actually fits to the car. The other main points to consider are down here, these studs here and here on the side of the car here. That's where the roof actually locates. So for the next bit, you'll see the roof go on, but most of the work goes on from the inside out. So it's a little bit difficult to show how it all goes together. Right, let's get on with it. Right, okay, now we are all done, and I've got my nice new roof in place. Now, truth be told, although this is a job you could do as a DIY thing, I'm quite glad I brought it down here to MX5 Parts and let Sean do the hard work, because let's face it, he's done thousands of them. He knows all the little tricks, and while when you've had somebody showing it to you, that it's not perhaps as difficult as you might think, there are also a few little things along the way that if you didn't know, you would make a right mess of it. So yeah, I think as much as I enjoy working on my own car, I was happy to leave this one to the experts. Let's just have a look at what we've got. So I've got a mohair hood. That means it's a slightly nicer look to it. It's a slightly higher quality than the standard vinyl ones. That looks nice. I've got a rear window that I can see through. As I say, from the start I went for the plastic rear window. You can upgrade to a glass one if you're on a Mark I, but I quite like driving along with the rear window unzipped. and the hood's still up on the motorways and things like that. So that's why I went for that. So very happy with that. It looks really smart, so that's good. Let me just talk you through the final stages that comprise the fitting. So last we saw, we had the rain rail round the back going into place, and the hood kind of fits into the gap between the two sides of the rain rail, so the water can run in through the back and then down the channels and that through the gutters at the bottom. So if you're doing it properly, apparently you actually rivet the rain rail to the bottom of the hood before you put it into the car, but Sean's experience, it's actually easier to put the rain rail in first and then cover up the holes for the rivets and then just attach it using the 10mm bolts to go all the way around. It's just as secure and a much easier way to fit the roof, apparently. So yeah, there's just a series of little nuts that fit onto the studs going round the back there, and it's all in place. So yeah, super happy with the results. The car looks smart. I'm good to go. The thing is, it's quite a nice day, so the first thing I'm going to do before I actually hit the road is put the roof down.